What's up, everybody? What's up? This is Mr. Straight Facts Show. Got a little show for you today about the news today. What's news? Today, I didn't get a chance to talk about it last night because my show was on before I covered it. We all know that Joy-Ann Reid was let go from MSNBC. I talked about that yesterday. But what I didn't get a chance to talk about is the stand-up character of Rachel Maddow. Now, I'm not watching NBC, ever since we had Joe and Mika do their thing. I stopped watching and I started like watching clips here and there to catch up on some of the news. So that's what I did. And but I watched all of Joy Reid. She was the only thing that I would go and watch that station for, because I was always going to support my sister and what she does. So in so doing, we talked about that yesterday. But what I didn't get to see until I was off the air was Rachel Maddow's response to it. I posted it on other platforms. I didn't go live again on YouTube. So we're gonna go ahead and listen to her say what she had to say, and it's in not its entirety, just the majority of it. But we're gonna go ahead and listen to that.
What is changing is that the show, Alex Wagner Tonight, is not coming back at 9 after the first 100 days. Instead, Alex will be a senior political analyst for MSNBC, and Jen Psaki will start hosting the 9 p.m. hour all the other nights except for Mondays. So that's a big change. An even bigger programming change is at 7 p.m. Eastern, where Joy Reid's show, The Readout, ended tonight. And Joy is not taking a different job in the network. She is leaving the network altogether. And that is very, very, very hard to take. I am 51 years old. I have been gainfully employed since I was 12. And I have had so many different kinds of jobs, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. But in all of the jobs I have had, in all of the years I have been alive, there is no colleague for whom I have had more affection and more respect than Joy Reid. I love everything about her. I have learned so much from her. I have so much more to learn from her. I do not want to lose her as a colleague here at MSNBC. And personally, I think it is a bad mistake to let her walk out the door. It is not my call, and I understand that, but that's what I think. I will tell you, it is also unnerving to see that on a network where we've got two non-white hosts in primetime, both of our non-white hosts in primetime are losing their shows, as is Katie Fang on the weekend. And that feels worse than bad, no matter who replaces them. That feels indefensible, and I do not defend it.
Did she light into their asses? Sounds like something I would have said. Right. A few experts. Good job, Rachel. Good job. I just might watch.
Now, we got that situation. I posted that yesterday on TikTok. So we got a chance to see this sister literally go in for her friend. Now, Rachel Maddow and our sister Joy Reid, well, put it this way, Joy Reid said that, Rachel Maddow and her were really tight. And so it showed by the way she responded. And from other clips that I saw of Joy Reid where she actually broke down in tears, she still had that mad love for her colleagues. Now, I know being in the news industry, I've been in it before. A lot of it is a facade, and I'm hoping that it's not. But I had many colleagues who left, and people were crying and saying all these things like that. 35 minutes after they out the door, they were back to doing their regular old thing, acted like it never happened, and went on about their business. Not that they're supposed to cry all day, but they were crying before they left. And as soon as they walked out the door, the tears were gone. So I don't know if that's the case for them, but it seems very genuine. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Now, one of the things that I put up a little early that I saw just recently broke. And that is Donald Trump has put out a feeler, so to speak, for a $5 million gold card. Ladies and gentlemen, what is that? What is a $5 million gold card? Explain that one to me. You're going to literally tell people that they can have a gold card to get into the United States, a quick pass to get into the United States, where people are coming in for reasons of fear. You know, give me you're tired, you're hungry, the stuff that we fed people in this country. They're like, give me your billionaires, your millionaires is what they're saying now. And I don't know when America is going to just have like an all out, like, you know, fight over this. I saw, you know, different politicians out there talking about we're going to have, you know, like we're going to go through the legal system and all that. I get it. You're going to have to go through the legal system, but you're going to have to, you know, for lack of a better term, get in some people's asses. You literally going to have to say something disrespectful. You got to stop trying to play the game the way they already done broke the game. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to continue doing it the way it was back in the day. That shit's gone. I mean, half the people who are Democrats that I know, if not majority, are tired of playing, you know, the by the rules, so to speak. We're not talking about just breaking laws or anything like that, but we're talking about getting in their faces and telling them off. Telling it like it is. These people have broke every rule. The thing that really shocks me is that, and not, I don't want this to happen, but when you start to really think about it, the sycophants on the right believed in their cause so much, they tried to unalive the vice president. And Democrats say they believe in this country, and they keep on doing this wimp shit. I'm not saying going to the Capitol and do nothing crazy. I'm saying do more than what you're doing now. You guys should be in the media 24/7 talking about what you're going to do. You should be spraying commercials everywhere talking about what you're going to do. You should also be talking about what you've already done. I heard a person speaking earlier today on some news channel saying that, you know, they're winning in the courts. Then why the hell don't the people know you're winning in the courts? I mean, what are the cases? What have you fought? What have you won? What have you lost? We have nothing. Just these people coming out in generalizations. We're winning in the courts. What are you winning? Is this like a stay? Or is it like something they're just holding on to? Did you flat out win, or was it held over until you figure it out? I mean, what is it? You have no idea. And America sitting here is like, wait a minute. You guys are telling us you're doing something, but you have no receipts that you're doing it. We got to go check the courts and find out ourselves. Hell, why we send you there? Just to speak in generalities? You guys need to get into the weeds of the details of what y'all doing. And even if you got to summarize it, it can't be that summarized where you're talking about this. We need to know names. You know what I'm saying? What are the terms you say when you're younger? Kicking ass and and saying names or something like that. Why aren't you literally kicking ass and telling us who their names are? You're trying to hold on to democracy when people are trying to blow it up. But you're trying to do the same things and expecting a different outcome. It's been almost 10 years. You guys have been following the rules, decorum, and they've been out here acting a fool. You guys trying to tap in and try to figure out what America wants. We want people with a spine that's going to fight for us, that's going to say something, do something. And when you do it, tell us what you did. You got to understand, you know, why we're liking the Jasmine Crockett's of the world. It's not because she's one of our sisters, even though that's a part for me. But it's not about that. It's about how she's fighting. I saw a clip today. She told somebody, she was talking about Elon, I guess, said, fuck him or something like that. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I don't understand also how they aren't up in arms. Like, one thing, I don't understand the whole process. Again, they may need to educate everybody about it, is that Elon Musk has not been vetted to be able to be inside the White House to get this type of information. Donald Trump should not be able to give him that kind of permission to do so. And they've been saying that that's not something that he can do and that it's illegal. Why aren't y'all trying to arrest this man? Him coming into the White House without anything, why aren't you trying to arrest him? I don't care if he gets out 25 minutes after he goes to jail. Try to arrest him. Put some pressure on them. Forget these lawsuits to get the laws changed. Get these lawsuits or police officers to throw him in jail for breaking laws. It always amazes me how and again, he doesn't have this immunity that a congresswoman or man has or a senator has. He doesn't have that immunity. He's just a regular citizen like us, and he can't be deputized with this immunity. He literally has to have it, be voted in. Yet we don't hear them fighting or saying anything about these are laws that he's breaking and that these laws should be held to account. It's almost as if they're scared to do anything. And I'm like, what you scared of? The people's got your back. What you scared of? We don't even have immunity as regular American citizens. And we're ready to do something. You guys got immunity and you're scared to do something. Why are you in the position? Trust me, many of you guys are gonna meet your fate with that. Because as you can see, this shit ain't getting better. It's getting worse. Day by day, it's getting worse. It's only been months. What do you think it's going to look like in a year from now? Hell, 6 months at that point. What's it going to be like? We already, like we saw last weekend on Friday or Saturday, these town hall meetings, people going insane about it. I get it. But as they continue this, like I said, I foresee it, that they're going to literally start throwing things at these people. Tomatoes and things like that begin with, then rocks and pellets, then glass. I'm telling you, these people are not going to continue taking it. These are Republicans. And this is what's killing me about this. The Republicans that voted for them, they've caused this shit. And they're fighting and screaming and yelling. And the Democrats who fought against it, just sitting back. I heard James Carver say that Democrats should just sit back and just let it happen. See, that's that old school way of doing politics. Let the country fall apart until the rest of the country just can't help but need Democrats. That's how we're going to win. We're going to let them tear everything down, and then everybody's going to come to us as a savior. I'm sorry to tell you, James Carver, I know you've been in the business forever, but just like everything else, when seasons change, and you've been around a bunch of seasons, so have I, but not as many as you, I'm at that phase where that season has gone. That ain't coming back. Ain't nobody trying to wait it out. And think about what that means. You're telling people to wait it out. Do you really care about the people? Because if you did, you're talking about people going through a hell of a lot of pain waiting it out. No, we need people to fight. To tell us ways that we can be a part of ending this instead of prolonging this. I understand there were a majority, even though a small majority, of people who wanted this, but not just like this. For instance, there was this, it still is, a representative by the name of Jeff Van Drew of New Jersey. This man, and I quote, said, talking about Medicare and Medicaid, he says, don't touch seniors' Medicaid or Medicare, and don't cut Medicaid, because it isn't just for lazy welfare people, it's for real people. What in the hell is that? It is amazing how these people say some of the most sexist, misogynist, just outrageous things and act like they're just saying something that's just should be rolling off the tongue easily. What the hell is lazy welfare people and what does he say? Regular people. Or not regular, real people. Regular might have been real people. So people who are on welfare are lazy, or they're real people. Now y'all know the stereotype of people on welfare look like me. So when he says that, that's code word. It's not for those people who are lazy, those black people. It's for white people. The people that vote for us, they're on it too. No, sir, they're on it the most. So if it was true to form, you would be saying, don't touch seniors, Medicare, and don't cut Medicaid, because it isn't for lazy white people. It's for all people. Because it is majorly by the millions something that white people partake in. Even Steve Bannon said something to the effect today. You got to watch out for that Medicare and Medicaid, because a lot of Trump voters are on it. It's kind of tricky. I would love to cut it all, but you can't cut it all, because there's the one who's saving you guys. Even Steve Bannon knows that their core base has to continue to believe in them in order for them to continue down this path of destroying American democracy. Because just like with every kingdom in the past in history, when the people get tired of you, they will be coming after him and saying the same thing they said about Mike Pence on January 6th. And it won't just be him. It'll be all of his sycophants. Elon Musk, all of them. Kash Patel, all of them. They will come to hunt them down if enough of them's lives are destroyed. They're trying to cut $880 billion out of Medicare and Medicaid. And when they were asked, I think it was Mike Johnson was asked today. And he was like, well, it's kind of tricky. They were like, you're not going to touch welfare or Medicare or Medicaid. Well, it's kind of tricky. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. These people realize they bought a rancid cow. And they're starting to understand this man is making them sick. The sad part is, because they put RFK in the office to do something, when they really get sick, they're not going to have Medicare and Medicaid the way they used to have it. They're going to start dying off. They're not going to have this. Not for long. Trust and believe. They're not going to have this. Them busting their butts. See, here's a misconception for people who are on welfare, Medicaid, Medicare, all that. It has nothing to do with laziness. It has everything to do with how this country's set up, that we have to have poverty, because that's the only way that these rich people and middle-class people can take care of their families as they go out and make money, or take care of their farm when they don't want to have their asses out there all day in the hot sun. You need that poverty, and they know that. But those people work their asses off. Those people have worked their asses off more than Donald Trump has done in his whole life. I can guarantee you, an immigrant, undocumented or whatever, working on a farm, picking, I don't care what produce of choice, in one day, that person has worked harder than Donald Trump worked in his whole entire freaking life. I saw a video about 3-4 years ago. There was a somewhat young white male. I would say he's probably in his 30s. You know what I mean? He might have been early 40s, but I would say he's probably 34, 35. And he was doing some kind of, I don't know if it was a package or video or something like that. He may have worked for the news or something, or something like that. And he went to a farm or a ranch or some what they call it of an orange grove. Orange grove. Let me get it right. And these immigrants, now I don't know if they're undocumented, illegal, I don't know anything about that, but immigrants were working there. And the workload they had to accomplish in a day in order to get paid or to get a bump in pay was so much that this white man tried to keep up with them, and even their youngest among them, or even oldest for that matter, was whipping this man's butt. And he was legitimately trying to keep up. And at the end, he was wiped. He was wiped at the end. These people were walking around like, come get some water. They were just chilling. You tell me that that's lazy. Now, in this country, we've had almost every culture go through something like that. But not the original Caucasians who came here. Those are the ones forcing everybody else to work for them, whether it was indentured servitude or enslavement. There's no culture that has came here and made something, or came here and strived to make something, considered lazy. In every culture, human beings, period, there are people who are lazy. But that is not the majority, nowhere near. And for those who have a job, no. But when you hear people say that, that's just code words. Because they want to keep lazy for other cultures outside of white. They literally said, there's some lazy people in there, but then there's some real people. See, this is the type of things that when somebody says something like that, did someone address him right away and say, what the hell's a lazy people and what's real people? Could you define that for us? I don't know if it was just in an article or somebody saw him. I didn't get to see it. I just read the article. But that should be something that the next reporter tomorrow morning that sees this man should ask. What's the difference between a lazy welfare person and real people? See, before, what happened is that the Republicans always try to dismantle regular media, legacy media, from getting on their asses by saying, oh, you're trying to pull a gotcha moment. I'd be like, damn straight I'm trying to pull a gotcha moment, because you lie too much. You make it seem like a gotcha moment is a bad thing. It's not. It's about time you play gotcha, because they've been playing lie, and flood the lane, flood the field, whatever you want to call it, with lies, and you got to go and chase each one of them. How about you attack their character? Why are you such a liar? And why do you got to lie about so many different things? If you cared about your constituents, you wouldn't lie to them, would you? How about these Democrats start addressing Republicans and not us? You're preaching to the choir. Why don't you go to these Republican-led areas and start holding town hall meetings in their territory? See how they trip off that shit. Go to the Republicans. Start talking to them about what you want to do for America. Hell, we already know what you're trying to do. But go over there, hold a town hall meeting, and talk shit about the person that's in office and what they're doing to them. You just might get them to come on over just to get these people out. But playing this game the way you've been playing it ain't working. Democrats. The idea that we're going to get anything done the old way is not going to happen. And I don't know why it's taking them 10 years, Democrats, to figure out what you're doing ain't working. It's not working. And if it was, then you'd be winning. But you got to understand, they're doing this. The Republicans have been putting fear in these people's hearts. And you guys are still trying to put hope, which I'm fine with. But you have to quell the fear. And what you should be doing and should have been doing is to literally make them afraid of what Donald Trump is doing. I know he was out there saying, hey, you know, he's doing this thing just like Schindler. And we were right. We was telling them Project 2025, what they were doing, and we were right. We told them about autocracy. We told them about authoritarianism. We told Donald Trump is going to do these things, and he's doing them. We told him that. But I think at the same time, what needs to be addressed is the constant sexism, racism, all the isms that people are literally trying to escape. We don't want to talk about it. What if you don't talk about it? Think about it. They're talking about it. They're just saying it in code words. It always kills me when you hear racist white people, and along with them, the ones who are ignorant to the fact or just don't want their feelings to get hurt. They're dealing with racism every day, saying racist shit every day. It's just coded. We come up with this term and it's been around for a long time. Dog whistles. It's literally why are you calling it dog whistles? They're literally saying racist shit. They're literally saying xenophobic shit. They're saying, but you don't want to say the word xenophobic because you're trying to be all politically correct. Even in the news media, trying to be all like, we don't want to hurt your feelings, but it's, you know, you're dog whistling. No, you're saying racist shit. You're saying sexist stuff. I'd rather you guys stop down and educate than continue talking about the next topic. I'd rather you have a knockdown, drag out fight about it than sit around and just move on and move on to the next story. I don't give a damn about the next story. The story you just let go, there are millions that believe what this fool just said. And if you love democracy, if you love the freedom of the press, you won't let that shit fly. There should be consequences for these lies. Kick their ass off the show. But if you've been watching politics long enough, they've been doing this for decades. Donald Trump learned how to handle them by watching how they worked. He cracked the code on them. They allowed these Republican, and I guess on the conservative side, they did the same thing, but I'm going to talk about from my perspective because I worked in the news. They allowed these Republicans say some of the most whack job shit. And then when they got off the set, they were cool and they would go out and drink and have a good time, and they come back and you would see they would go from, all right, man, I'll talk to you later. How's your son doing? Oh, Tyler? Oh, he's doing great. How's your daughter doing? Oh, Mary, she's doing great. Tell the wife I said hello, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. You ready to go on set? I said, oh, yeah. I'll be on set in 5 minutes. They go on the set. Then they're just going at it and saying lies left and right. Then get off the set. Good show. That's just been going on for decades, people. Donald didn't create this. He mastered how to mess with them. They have no understanding on how to defeat it. It's insane. It's really insane. In the show, I'll have live Q&A if we have like any time during this particular show to do it. If you was here yesterday, you know I'm going to spend time with my oldest child because she's moving to Seattle. But I'll always have I'll give opportunities for live Q&A if you have questions, if we reach our chat goals. But we're going to actually read an article, and I'm going to put it up here in a minute, of Donald Trump and what he said. And let me get this ready for you. In this article, and it's titled, Trump says he'll offer gold cards for $5 million. Now, I'll take this down. $5 million he'll offer gold cards. That's insane. This man's going to offer gold cards for $5 million. And that is, and I'm going to tell you something. This man is so obsessed with gold. You notice the things that Donald talks about a lot of is being intelligent, being super smart, and gold. Now, if you really knew why he's so enamored by gold, and I'm sure there's some more other like sick things he's got in his head, but his not his father, but his grandfather, who was an immigrant. His father was the first. He came over here and I think he was born in Queens or whatever, and he's the second generation. But his father, his grandfather, made his gold, his money in gold, and then started creating, from what, like hotels and different things like that. But it was from what the information I got, it was brothels. But I know it was buildings for his dad. And so his grandfather was in some shady things. Then his father comes over here, and his mother was an immigrant as well. This is being Donald Trump. And so his father started doing real estate. Now, his father got into real estate through the idea of when, back in the day, there was a time in 1945 to like 1968, there was this housing boom. Now, the suburbs were built around that time. Okay, so his father went into hotels, but apartment buildings and corporate buildings, stuff like that. The other people were going into real estate as far as like housing, residential. And so they built all these housing complexes. Well, they got a lot of money from the government. Whose tax dollars were those? Everybody's. Black, Latin, white, Asian, everybody who was here. Who got the money, though, to build that stuff, and who got the money to build wealth off of that? Only white people. But in those contracts, it didn't say it excluded any other race but black people. In the contracts for these developers, Donald Trump's father they could not, based on getting this money, rent to black people. None whatsoever. I don't care if it was a black billionaire back then. They couldn't rent to him because the government gave them the money, and that was in the Housing Administration's clause. And what kills me all the time is when people start saying, like, oh, black people always want something for nothing or whatever. Or, you guys want something. What did we get? You don't know history. Just because your parents didn't partake in the great land grab of America, that's not our fault. Your family had opportunities. Maybe your family wasn't here yet from wherever country they came in as an immigrant. But the ones who were here at the time in 1948 to 1968, they had opportunities that no black person could ever have until this thing allowed black people to be able to buy property in these areas that were growing exponentially, creating wealth. That's why the average white family in this country, not because they worked so hard for it, it's because they was allowed to have property to be able to get equity, to be able to invest in themselves and their family, whether it be through colleges, whether it be through just taking the money out and building a business. And when you have a house, you have equity. You can take loans out on your equity. You had banking. Black people didn't even have banking. They had cash, check cashing places. And the banks they could be in were further away from their homes and the communities that they were in. Always an obstacle for black people. Always an obstacle. But we're always being told, you got the same opportunities I have and always had. No, you didn't. No, we didn't. You don't know history if you believe that. In order to fix the problems that existed from the past, we must create opportunities for black people to be able to move forward instead of always trying to take them backwards. But black people all throughout the United States right now are creating programs where they don't need any other culture anymore. Why? Because they're sick and tired of asking for something and everybody act like they're begging for it when they're owed it. Everybody in this country, when it first started, not the immigrants who came over many, many decades and stuff like that after enslavement, we ain't talking about y'all. But the ones who were here, that we helped, the African Americans helped create this country and create what it is today, their ancestors was promised something and it was taken away from them. Every culture that was here then, their families promised something, they got it. And don't give me this, oh, that's so many years ago, blah, blah, blah. Nobody's still alive. When it's always the same idiotic story. It was many, many years later, Native Americans got their, just due for whatever, their reparations to some degree. They were the first ones. Remember, they came here unalived, Native Americans and indigenous people. Those people who were here. Isn't it odd how the indigenous people who aren't the Native American, it's odd how the Native Americans got land and casinos and the other indigenous people who were here got nothing. The African who came here and became enslaved from the very beginning, but many years after that, but being the first and only in this country to be enslaved, to build it for free, you don't owe them a thing. It's just insane. It's an insane talking point. And if you have it, you have racist ideologies. Because you had no problem with this country giving back money to the Asian people that they destroyed. To Jewish people whom America didn't destroy. We literally went and fought and became the savior for Jewish people. Even though coming over here, they were treated like shit, they were never treated like black people on American soil. Every culture that has come to this country, Latin people, never got treated like us. But every one of these cultures, if they've been slighted by this country, has received something for that slight. just not black folks. And if you can't see that that is unfair, then there's something wrong with you. We shouldn't be having to beg for it. You should be looking at history and say, we owe that to them. And we're not going to get over this hump that we have in life and this hatred toward one another and division toward one another until that type of thing is settled. Ask yourself if, as a person who is not melanated, if your wife or husband, whichever one you may have, ended up taking, like you and her, or him and her, whatever, you guys are in a situation where, let's say you break up. She's the one that cheated on you, and she takes all your money. You don't deserve nothing. That's the way the courts actually work in many cases, people believe. Men are fighting their ass off to get something. So much so they're trying their best to fight for laws that they don't ever have to owe child support. They just have babies all they want. You guys have been whining and moaning about that forever and still trying to do it. But nobody is telling you to forget that. Nobody. Been bitching about it forever. And that ain't even race related. That's still just men and women related, but still fighting for it. But you want black people to forget that you slighted them. You can't forgive your ex for cheating on you, but you want us to forgive the ancestors who did worse than cheat on our families. It's insane. You guys, you always have an excuse to make yourself feel better while stepping on people who already feel bad about what happened to them and their ancestors. You have nothing to say. And who would get the money? Someone said, I think it was Iona. Again, if you're not one of us, why do you care? It's indigenous, the people who are here, that their family members were part of that entire thing, right? The original, if you can track your family back, in which most people here in America can, that your ancestors were enslaved here, they would get the money. The people who, here's the thing that kills me about this. You guys make it seem like it's so hard to figure out. When they promised African people, African American by that time, or black, whatever you want to call it by that time, when they promised black people 40 acres and a mule right after the end of the war, did they say, oh, how can we do this? How do we do it? You guys act like it's fucking like some kind of strange thing how to do. How do we do it? How did they do it back then? You trying to tell me in 1863, 65, they figured it the fuck out, but now you guys are like, how does it work? How did they figure it out in 18 something? They were giving out acres like crazy, 40 acres and a mule to black people. They figured it out. It ain't about figuring it out. It is literally like an excuse to say, forget it. Because it's not that hard. When you can go back and say, oh, okay, this person, this family, this is your lineage of what happened to you, whatever you got to do, being able to prove that you yourself is one of the people who were, your family was enslaved, you're a descendant of these enslaved people. That's who would get the money, the descendants of these enslaved people. And it's been generations of that. There's many different reiterations. People want to talk about education. Give people no, because they devalue education. The moment people say, oh, I get a college degree, they're going to divide. Look what happened to our sisters, the black sisters out here, right? The most educated group in America. That's no small feat. But America promised that if you're educated, you get opportunities. And if you get educated, you can start having careers and not jobs. If you get educated, you can move from zero to hero. The American dream is reachable, right? Well, the minute black women become the top dog in education, what do we got here? A racist president that's devaluing education. Want to get rid of the Department of Education. Calling things meritocracy, white men with no education. no skills, no trade. They're the ones who are merit and firing black people who have more merit than the white person. I ain't even talking about a little bit. They have multiples more. Not 2 times, not 3 times, 100 times more experience. Pete Hegseth has barely any experience. The people that he's replacing got decades of experience. And you want to tell me, oh, he's qualified. He's not. You know he's not. And if you say he is, you're talking about feelings. You want to feel like you're smart without actually doing the homework. But the idea of how they devalued education because black women became the top educated group in this country. When it was white men, education was the thing. But now it's no longer white men. Who cares about education? We don't even need an educational program here. If you don't see that trend, then you don't understand it. You really don't. Now I see, what does it say? That fought British rule. Interplanet Janet, you said something about Sons of Liberty. What is that? I know that one organization with the daughters, that was the one that's mostly, I know the Daughters of the Confederacy, but there's a Mothers of something now, just pretty much the Daughters of the Confederacy. Whenever I hear those terms, it kind of like scares me. I'm like, what? Hey, part of that group? So, but I don't know what that group is. But that's where you end up seeing that whenever black people end up winning, they change the rules. Black women were winning. They started changing the rules. Now, an ignorant white man is equivalent to basically a genius black person. And they'll call themselves genius even though they're stupid. It's just an upside down world. Oh, it's a resistance group. Okay, Rudy and Interplanet Jenny had threw me for a second. I know the Daughters of the Confederacy, and that's like every time I think about that, I'm like, I remember when the moms, I think, of Liberty or something like that. I know that group is basically the Daughters of the Confederacy. They do it, basically they exactly are. They did it. They got the exact same game plan. Destroy education as the way it really was, so therefore our people don't feel as bad as they should to get through the problem and then get to a solution. It's always like, stop making me feel bad. Okay, let me go in and change it. And it's always crazy to me how they have the power to like literally go into schools and start changing education. It's like, who are you to be changing everybody's education? And if that's the case, why don't black people, and Latin people, and Asian people just start gathering together and going into schools and saying, you know what? I don't want to know nothing about Columbus. It's some woke shit. I don't want to know nothing about American history as far as it contains the white people. That's some woke shit. Why don't we do that? Why don't we start formulating organizations and say, I don't even want to know about this history? Something to think about. Something to think about. But let's move on and talk about and read this article. This article is Donald Trump saying, President Donald Trump said Tuesday, and this happened, probably at like 4:36, or about 2 hours ago, hour and a half, said Tuesday that he plans to offer a gold card visa with the path to citizenship for $5 million, replacing a 35-year-old visa for investors. They'll be wealthy and they'll be successful and they'll be spending a lot of money and paying a lot of taxes and employing a lot of people. And we think it's going to be extremely successful, Trump said in the Oval Office. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a misconception to think that rich people care about you. It is. I don't understand how any human being could literally think that that's middle class or poor. When's the last time a rich person ever thought about doing anything for you? Not somebody you knew, just rich people coming up with plans of this is how we're going to help poor people. And this is how we're going to develop a program so that we can end poverty. They're always talking about stop giving them money and they'll just conform to us and start working harder. They'll become like us. They'll become real people. And then when people actually get the education and the skill to actually compete or even surpass them, they change the rules and say education don't matter. And then what? I'm telling you, we're going backwards. Because if this place isn't about anybody can have the American dream and only white men can, there will be a civil war. But not the kind they think it's going to be. If you've seen these town halls, it's been majority white women that are fed up. So I don't think they're going to be able to count on most of them for a long time. The pain's going to have to keep coming before they can completely fall apart from them. But the pain's going to have to keep coming. And there's going to have to be something to fill that void. Other cultures are going to have to come in there and fill that void for what these white men are not doing for white women. Because not to say that they can't do it on their own, but the ones who are relying on their male counterparts have already been going against their own self-interest. So it just tells you, it lends itself to say you need some other source to rest your head on to realize you keep fucking yourself. You need somebody else to want to give you something so that you will stop fucking yourself. It should just automatically click, hey, they're messing with my body. They're messing with my rights. They're messing with me being able to make decisions about my own life. That should make you so hot that you would never vote for another white male in your damn life until they do what you ask them to do. Threaten them with the power. There are more of you women, white women, than there are white men. You beat them like 60-40. Wake up. Uprise. Fight them back. There's no reason white women shouldn't be in power in this country. You're the majority. It's going to take people to realize these people are not for you. If they can replace you, they will. They can replace you, they will. Oh, try and shut me up, right? Ain't nobody gonna shut you up being loco. Never, never that. I can tell you that. But in this article, you will understand, that these people are not for you. To give a rich person easy access to become a citizen, $5 million. And you know what's so tripped? Is that they asked, I'm trying to get this straight now, I don't want to mess it up for you. One of the people asked that if does this mean that Russian oligarchs could have access to become American citizens? And this fool did not count it out. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what you have to learn today and not, or what in your life is. All money is not good money. Donald Trump is trying to sell America down the river. And I want you to look into something too. want you to look into something with Donald Trump. I think this man is focused on treating America like his own bank account. This is my true belief about what this man's really about. I think he's trying to make this his own bank account. Why would I say that? Because when you go back and listen to what he said in the Saturday, I think it was, interviewed or whatever, it was a press conference he had, when he went back and said that he was going to give 20% of that money, of the $2 trillion, back to the people. Right? 20%. His second thing he said, giving 20% toward our debt. The rest of that 60%, nobody asked him about. I think this man is trying to rob America. And why do I believe that? It's because if you really look at what Donald Trump is running, if you really look at it, and I learned this term earlier today when I was watching one of the shows, like a clip of one of the shows. We are talking about him having destroying democracy and trying to be a dictator. But what type of dictator? What type of it? Because there's a type. And I went into depth trying to learn about this today because I hadn't heard of it. And it's called patrimonialism. Donald Trump is trying to treat America like it's his bank account. That's 60%. I guarantee you he's going to say, oh, we're going to make investments for America. No, he's going to make investments for himself. He's going to start giving that 60% to the millionaires and billionaires that have supported him. And give you the lie that Republicans have been saying for generations now, is that we're going to create jobs and businesses. It's going to make America. They never create jobs and businesses. If you don't understand in this country, our country is survived by small businesses, not large businesses. You don't hear me. The majority of Americans work for a small business, not a large one. And this man is consistently talking about giving money to large corporations who don't create the majority of the jobs in this country. Just because they gave him the presidency back. I don't trust him. Neither should you. And you need to watch him. Listen to what he says. With this patrimonialism, you'll see that there's some things that he's doing. One of the major things of patrimonialism is having a weak democracy. Getting to destroy, and that's the same thing as a dictatorship, getting to destroy your belief in facts. And to believe him as the factual, like, king. One thing about kingdoms is that almost all of them has ended with somebody beheading them, dethroning them. And that's what's going to happen here. Americans are not going to fall for this. Not for 4 years, I don't believe. They're going to have an uproar. And if they don't change like direction, there's going to be an uproar with this. There really is. Thank you, Benny Loco. There's going to be an uproar, an uprise. And it already is starting. People are feeling mild pain now. You notice how they really haven't been, since they came out that Saturday when everybody went off on them at these town hall meetings. On that weekend, Saturday, Donald Trump comes out, give you 20% to kind of quell it. Once he said that, he let them rest on that. And then they kind of like chilled out a little bit with reporting the things that they're doing. Just this email that had like an expiration date, and then said, "Oh, we're gonna give you an extension on the expiration date." It's an illegal email. I keep telling people, whether you believe it or not, a government should never be run like a business. I hope you guys fall out of love with businessmen and women being presidents. If you don't learn anything, learn that the next president that we have should not know jack about business. Because a person in the office as president does not need to be a business person. Business people are cutthroat. Business people will sell their mama for a dollar. Business people will unalive their own baby to get the right stock. You don't want that type of person in office. You want somebody who has some kind of, morals. Somebody who has like a love of people, to want to have everybody reach the American dream, to talk in ways of saying, how can we help our people succeed so that our government succeeds? That's what we need. No kings. We need people, and no businessmen or women. They have business in their resume. You need to turn the other way. Anybody with business in their resume, you need to turn the other way. We need business people inside the house realizing how to budget some shit. I can give you that. But a president, no. I want that president, the next one that I'm looking for, I don't want him to have anything to do with business. I'm thrown off with business. Leave the business shit out of it. I'd rather take a person who's been a lifelong politician. Because at least they're trying to appease you, even if they're lying to you. This man has no feeling toward the American people. You can get him to do anything if you got enough money. I truly believe that. If Elon Musk told Donald Trump tomorrow that if he got down on his knees and shined his nuts on camera for $1 billion, Trump would be down there with a smile, spit shining it. That's what I know Donald Trump is all about. Money, 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 money. Greed. They ain't got shit to do. You can tell he's already done it with Putin. You can tell he's already done it with Putin. You could tell that. Because what he's done, even way back when he was president the first time, he negated our own political offices and said, I don't know why. I don't believe Putin did it. It's like, what? What you mean you don't believe? At a press conference. I don't see why you have a reason to lie. You mean our enemy? The one that hated Hillary so much because she is the one who kind of like was a part of the administration that destroyed his hopes and dreams? Was there at the time, the Democrats, and also when the Soviet Union back in the day, when it was torn down, and I guess Reagan said, Gorbachev, tear down those walls, all shit like that. All that, it destroyed everything that he wanted his country to be. It broke it all up. He's been hating America ever since. He was a spy back then, like some super spy. And Donald Trump, with his dumb ass, think he's smarter than Putin. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know where people get this from. You want your president to be damn near genius. You don't want them to be a dumbass. You want them to see when shit's coming at them and be able to thwart it, not just fall in love with it. Putin has been an enemy of America forever. There is no reason to like this man. He's done nothing to recant the shit he's already done in the past. He's never apologized for anything he's done to America. He's never apologized for all the shit that he's done that's humane around this world. It's inhumane. And Donald Trump's like, oh, but he's got a lot of money and he's really a nice guy and he's a dictator. I want to be like him. We don't need somebody who's a sycophant to just want to kiss the nuts of somebody he wants to be in his life. You should be your own man. You should be so strong that Putin either hates you or wants to be like you, not the other way around. He should be trying to cozy up to us and asking us, you know, what can we do to appease America? No, we got this weak ass simp president that's going around. Well, I think he's great. You haven't heard Putin on a day-to-day basis in any of our news constantly give Donald Trump all this love and accolades. Trump willingly, every chance he gets, says positive things about this man, even when he's doing illegal shit. It makes no sense. But it does if you're a sycophant. It does when you look up to somebody. And if you're looking up to somebody, bro, go live in Russia. Go run for president there. Don't have Americans underneath this man. Because you look like a simp always talking about how great he is. And then if you talk about anybody else that's in this country, that's fought for this country, that loves this country, the military, who've done everything they can, laid their life on the line for this country, lost legs and limbs for this country, you call them suckers and losers. But you call somebody who is a part of harming our men and women, you call him a good person. America, y'all gonna need to wake up. You can't call yourself patriotic when you don't respect the people who fought for the freedoms that you actually have right now. And what's so scary is that people who are in our military, that are in these offices of government, there are many of them that believe in this nincompoop. I don't have all the answers, but I know that our leaders don't have any that they can convey to us. They should, but they don't have any that they can convey to us. And we're sitting around here, you know, waiting, just waiting for them to do something. And I'm not going to sit here and wait. You know what I mean? I'm going to do whatever I can, talk about it, try and get in any space that I can to talk about and break down that on my Substack, MrStraightFacts.substack.com. I write about democracy and how they're destroying it, and all different other things that are going on. I break it down. Also, here you'll see me do things. I'm also on TikTok and other places. I am always trying to break down like the knowledge of the things that are happening. I'm not always on the very topics of the day, even though I would bring them up. I'm doing research on things that Americans should know in order to be able to thwart some things off. Because I don't see the the politicians arming the people with what we need to be doing. It's obvious they don't know. It's obvious because they're not arming anybody with anything to do. Black people should be going. Black people. I don't know why I'm putting it on us. I'm sorry about that. Politicians should be out there, especially Democrats, should be out here in these streets, literally telling every community what they need to do. We need to band together. How? Give us a plan. Tell us something. What's effective? Because we don't know the laws and the bylaws in which this government runs. Even if these laws are not in place just yet, what do we need to vote on? Who do we need to get out of office? Tell us something. Because trust me, if the people have to figure this out, y'all fucked. Because we ain't going to need you. Why do we need you when you couldn't come up with a solution yourself? Why do we need that? We don't. We don't need that. We don't need you if you're not going to stand up and fight for us. Now, I done did, like articles and things of that nature, and I've done videos for like years now telling people, look, this is headed down the wrong path. You can't get people to listen until they go through the pain. I don't know what they thought when all these content creators that I follow, and they're excellent content creators, were out here saying, hey, look, this is not working. This is not working, ladies and gentlemen. It's just not. Why are we in this situation? Why are we in this situation right now? I don't get it. But I think when you go through this, you'll start to understand that if we don't call our representatives, if we don't put some kind of heat on them, they're going to sit in the cut and relax until they're forced to do something, which sucks. Now, they said they had all these lawsuits. I'm not saying that they haven't. But what are these lawsuits doing? I mean, just telling me you got a lawsuit don't tell me nothing. Like, what is the outcome of the lawsuit? Is a lawsuit telling us that, hey, that these people are going to get their jobs back? Or everything's going to be reversed? What is these laws about? What did you win? Because they say they won. And I'm like, okay, what did you win? Like Hakeem Jeffries was on, I don't know, Rachel Maddow or something like that. And she asked him some really poignant questions. I thought it was very effective. I said, okay, so what is the situation with all these lawsuits? He was just so vague and so like, I don't know, how do you say it? But it was just not there. He was very, very vague in it. And I'm like, you need to have more fight in you. And no disrespect to him. I like Hakeem Jeffries, but it to me, he has a smile, but he seems like he's defeated. It's like a depressed smile. That's what it appears to me, like a depressed smile. Now, I'm going to ask you guys some questions because for some reason, I'm still seeing on my live another photo that's not what I'm actually having on my photo. I mean, right now I've had a full screen this entire time, and I'm seeing on YouTube a screen of the website. I don't know why I'm seeing that. I don't know how far back it is. Is it delayed? It's usually not that far delayed. So if you can give me an understanding of what you see right now, is it me on full screen? If that's what you see, I'll wait and see when the next person responds to see how far delayed this actually is. I'm going to keep waiting. I think full screen. Thank you, Being Loco. It's not that far delayed, but for some reason the website, YouTube is like very delayed on my end. So thank you, Being Loco. I appreciate that. So when you get down to this, you'll understand that Senator Hakeem Jeffries needs to literally let people know what's going on, because like I said, his smile and his distant look, it looks defeated to me. And I understand the country failed the Democrat Party in getting them at least either the House or the Senate. Failed completely. And there's really not a lot they can do. But what they need to let us know is what they can do. Because just sitting there is not good enough. None whatsoever. They got to figure something out. Because if they don't, we in trouble. We in some big trouble. We in a big hurt. If they can't do anything but just have lawsuits and not tell us what these lawsuits are for and what they're doing, somebody needs to be doing it. I don't care if it's Jasmine Crockett, AOC, Chris Murphy, whomever. The lawsuits need to have some teeth to it. We need to know what they're about. And it just seems like they don't really get the fact of how dire this is for American citizens. People are losing their jobs. Like I said, if I was leader of the Democrat Party, I'm not saying I would, but they know more than I do, but I'm not saying that I would know everything, but I know one thing they should be working on. And I said it earlier. They need to be going to these Republican towns and cities, having town halls with the Republicans. And I know that's not traditional, but this right here is not traditional times. They need to be going to speak to these Republican-led areas, not because they're going to get voted there, but there are Democrats that are in that community where these Republicans are having their town halls. You need to start inviting Republicans to these places and saying what you're going to do to thwart it, and to let them know what Republicans are actually doing in the House to them and in the Senate, and what Donald Trump has planned for them. You need to have that. I know it's not traditional, but like I said, these are not traditional times. That's what we need to do. Because there needs to be some path for us to follow. And being helpless and hopeless is not one of them. Being in people's faces and talking shit to them and getting heated, yes, that is what we need. Because if it doesn't appear that you're fighting, then it doesn't appear that you care. This is not a time for kumbaya. It's a time for kicking ass. Point blank, period. All right. One of the things I saw today also was that they fired a military man and put in one of Donald Trump's son's friends or something like that. And I just saw that right before coming on air, so I didn't get a chance to catch all of it. You may have seen it or heard it. And this is called meritocracy. Someone who has no experience leading our country in a very important position. All these government positions are important positions to keep the government running. I want to cut back things like everybody else does so that we can save money and not be in debt. But I want you to go through it with a fine-tooth comb, okay? And then cut the things that don't harm us and don't mess with our safety or our finances. Now, some people, of course, if you got a position where you got somebody who's working there that's more than what they should be doing, of course you want to, actually get rid of that particular thing. Nobody's saying you shouldn't. Of course you should. But we want to be able to know how these positions, and I don't care if it's wonky. I don't care if you have to create a website, because Doge has a website and it's trash. But if you got to put something together that literally shows us all the money going in, all the money going out, that's able for us to see, please do. They're putting out stuff that, this is what we cut back. So we cut back. What does that do? And is it actually true? Who vets it? Because they come out with multiple mistakes right now. who's to say that the mistake that they fixed is actually accurate? Because they made too many mistakes as it is. There should always be a checks and balance. There's another reason why I believe Donald Trump is using this money that he's saving for the wealthy people and not for us. That 60% that they don't talk about. Elon Musk and his little group of teenage or young programmers, they're out here pretending like they know what they're doing. So you got to understand something. A programmer knows nothing about being a forensic accountant. And that's what's killing me about this, is that if you're a programmer at 19 and you got a job as opposed to owning your business, and they tapping you to come work for them at 19, how is it that you know anything about being a forensic accountant? There are multiple positions. I was looking it up earlier today. Positions that are required to be able to do like a forensic audit of what's what, and before you learn how to cut anything. See if I can find it. But one of them, of the positions, was a forensic accountant. And how can you not, if you're not a forensic accountant, how are you cutting back anything? You don't know what you're doing. Let me see if I can find this real quick before we go. I know that there's I had it earlier today. I did the research on it. And I'm writing an article about it, to be honest. But I wanted you guys to know about a forensic, there we go. I think this might be it. I'm not sure. But you need at least a team of like 50 people to do this. He's got a bunch of teenagers. A bunch of teenagers to do something that takes at least 50 people. He doesn't even have a team. So how are you doing this, and how is this really an audit? That's why you see so many mistakes. They're cutting things they don't even know what it belongs to. And it's a huge government. Here's the thing, like with people who are learned to do this, it has been a process in which it is taking some people like 4 or 5 years to get through this. And these people are doing it within months and think they know what they're doing. It's insane, ladies and gentlemen. How do you know what you're doing? 19-year-old, how do you know what you're doing? Programming is not the same, nowhere near the same as a forensic accountant. See, this is this ideology again that meritocracy means a white male can do anything. Don't need education, don't need a specific skill. They don't need anything. You're just qualified because you're a white male. That's it. You would not hire a 19-year-old person, not unless they were a genius at this particular skill, to come and build something for you if they've never built it before. I'm going to spend a few million building me a house. Come here, 19-year-old. You ever built a house before? No. I believe in you. Build this $1 million home, and I'm going to give you $300,000. Who would do that? Nobody. You ain't wasting your money on some child who doesn't know how to do this shit. Now, if this was some kind of savant that was building houses all over the world, oh, I see. But you're talking about a person who's never built a house, a person who's never did a forensic audit, coming in and trying to do an audit and cutting back. You need to know these people are not for you. They're literally trying to destroy this country and make themselves wealthy beyond imagination. They're so wrought with greed that they want all America's money. That's a sick human being. And what they found is a bunch of sick people that they think was going to help them, but they got suckered and conned because all he did was stroke these people's ego and their racist ideologies, and they gave him the key to the world, thinking that he was going to do something for them. He's doing something for you, all right? He's firing you. And when it happens to you, and if you voted for Donald Trump, I want you to go look into that mirror as you're crying and trying to figure out why you eating ramen noodles instead of steak like you were prior to Trump coming in. And before they start to foreclose on your home, I want you to look in the mirror and say, it's my fault. Take accountability. Don't get on these social media streets talking about, oh, woe, it's me. No, you voted for him. Ain't no woe, it's you. It's woe, it's that Democrat or that independent that happened. But for you, you asked for it. You voted for it. You wanted it, and you got it. You just thought it was going to happen to other people and not you. So keep your little tears to yourself. We don't care. We give two shits about your tears. Because these people who are out here who wanted this not to happen, their tears matter. Because they fought for it not to happen. They saw it coming, and your idiot ass voted for your own demise. It's insane. Now, I don't want to leave you guys with just the negative stuff that's going on, but it's real. I want you to know that even though we're going through all this stuff, those people out there who voted the right way, those people out there who want a solution, we have to come to some type of agreement that we're going to try and work our way toward whatever it is. If we have, some ideas that we can get in the comments, or if you come up with something, you come to the lives often, suggest some things, I'll suggest some things, and then we can start working on some things to try and to heal what we're doing. Someone mentioned earlier, February 28th, we're going to stop shopping at Target. I'm a part of that. I'm not a official part of that. I'm not a part of the group who started it, nothing like that. I am just going to actually participate. And they have other dates too. I think it's called targetfast.org. I think that's what it's called, targetfast.org. I would suggest that whatever these companies that are getting rid of DEI, getting rid of all these different, programs, affirmative action, you need to stop shopping at those places. They need to feel the hurt before they stop listening to Donald Trump and start running back to the money. Trust me, their greed is stronger than their loyalty to Trump. Their greed is stronger than their loyalty to Trump. They just have to bleed money a lot longer. But trust, if you find another organization that is supporting DEI and affirmative action and different things like that, just put it in our chats, and we shall start to shop there. Because already Target has lost billions of dollars just from people who are just stopped shopping there, period. People are doing it on the 28th. I have stopped completely. I'm not doing the 28th. I am completely done with Target. It is a wrap. It is zero. I don't buy nothing from there. I go to like neighborhood stores around here in California. I'm done with them completely. But every company that I can find, if I don't need to buy something from there, I ain't buying nothing from them. That's movement. Tough cookies. Yeah. All right. Yeah, become involved in your local Democratic organization. Thank you, Benny Loco. I appreciate it. All the people in my room, my subscribers, my members. I love y'all. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you guys working hard and making sure these things are actually coming to fruition for us. That not only this particular platform that I'm on, but or even for me, for supporting other people who need it right now. Those people who have lost their jobs, who fought and wanted this not to be their reality. I'm sorry that you're going through this. I feel bad for you. Your tears are genuine. And, I got nothing but prayers and positive thoughts. And I know that's not doing a lot. And it's kind of cliche, but that's all I can give right now. My time, prayers, and thoughts is all I can give. But I also give my energy in always talking about you and keeping you guys, abreast of all the things that I can find that's going on. Trust me, I'm gonna become, better at this as I go on. There's some things and segments that I want to work on and make it more structured. But I told you I was going to come on at 5 and close to 5 as I could possibly get. I'm going to do it, and you just got to work with me as I get better and better through this process. I want to thank you guys for your support, subscribing to the channel, becoming members. My loyal members, thank you very much. I see you all the time, either buy membership for others or, trying to get other people to join, and I appreciate that. But we'll continue doing that. We'll start doing some, Q&A. We start reaching some of our goals, and we'll start adding other segments to this. I want to start doing interviews, but I think my interviews are mostly going to be toward people we need to help, like farmers, things that are issues in this country that we know nothing about. Small farmers are going through it. I heard this one person who's a farmer, and I went and checked a couple other farmers who were egg farmers or chicken farmers, and talking about, the bird flu is a thing, but it's really about corporations. And I really want to get that out there outside of from my mouth. I want it to actually come through there. So I want to do some interviews with these people. So I'm going to try and get interviews on here as well. But bear with me as I continue down this path, and I'll try to give you more content. I got a lot going on, but I definitely want to be of service to you guys, and keep it factual. That's my thing. Keep it factual. You can have feelings about facts, and I care about that. But if you got feelings about lies, I don't give a fuck about that, because you can't do nothing with that. You can't deal with somebody's feelings when they're talking about lies, because those aren't real. That's fantasy. But when it's dealing with reality, like people losing their jobs because of this orange cretin, that's real. Those are facts. And those are the things that I care about and want to fix to some degree. I'm only doing my small part. But once some more creators come out and, leaders, I'm going to start talking to leaders in LA and try to get some more leaders throughout the United States to represent and come on here and talk about the things that are going on, the topics that we need to look for, actual solutions, not just telling us crap, you know what I mean? Those are the types of things I want to hear. I don't want to hear the fluff. I'm done with that. I was in news for 20 years. I'm tired of fluff. I'm tired of lies. I'm tired of being cordial with people when they're lying. It's none of that. And trust and believe, as you start to pay attention to what I do, and when people come on this air or with me, I want you guys to understand something. There's going to be times where you might get mad at me. And I'm just going to tell you that right now. And what I mean by that is the moment I'm telling you, I'm going to try and promise you people who come on the show. And when they come onto the show, the moment they lie, the show is going to stop down, and I'm going to get in that ass about that lie. And we're not going to move on to another topic. So you may want to get on here and be like, oh, I want to ask him this and I want to ask him that, or her this or her that. Once she or he lies, it's a wrap. I'm on that ass until I figure out why they lying. And if they ain't got nothing to say to cover up the lie they just said, I'm kicking their ass off the show and changing topic. I ain't got no time for it, no energy for it. And I owe nobody nothing that comes onto this show other than I owe my audience the absolute fucking truth. Fuck your feelings. You guys have a great evening, great night. I'll see you tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can see on the screen that's been on throughout the show whether you can donate to the show and support. I appreciate it. There's multiple ways to do it. You can also become a subscriber and a member. That's also a way to do it. I will be back here tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, on the Straight Facts, No Chaser show. And I appreciate y'all with all my heart. And I can't wait to see you guys again at 5 p.m. You guys take care. Be safe. Much love.